You can. I'll make room for you, babe.
Why do you always make it so dark?
It's not that dark in here.
I don't like this camera angle.
What the? Now they're just gonna be looking at our boobs. We'll push it back then.
Yeah. Because you angle it like that, and all I see is like a bar. Ow!
How's that? Oh, move that out of the way. There we go. All right. Hey guys, so
It's the Grisham and Grisham hour.
I wanted to relay an incident that happened, and I'll keep the details out. How you doing, Paul? Actually, I might give it a second or two.
Do you want me to read the questions?
Yeah, you read the questions.
Okay, I guess
they should
we'll
pop up.
have to scoot it back up then.
Well, here, I'll tell you what. Hang on.
Technical difficulties. Can you get my glasses?
Guy, get mom's glasses.
Where are they?
On the white dresser thing. There really is a point to all this, so thank you. But if I'm going to be reading questions. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the other day, was it yesterday? No.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
So 2 days ago, me and Proud of Your Freedom. If you don't subscribe to Proud of Your Freedom, check him out on here on YouTube. So we went out to, and if you've got any questions, this is a good sort of open-ended question time. We'll do this for a little while. I'll tell the story about the insanity of the left, I think. But obviously there's a lot going on. So if you have questions in general about laws or about upcoming events and stuff like that, then feel free to post them. Emily's got the chat up so that she could see that.
I've got my glasses on so I can
Yeah.
actually read it.
So we were out. We did there's a excuse me. There's a protest here Friday in Temple, and it's a police brutality protest, and me and OCT we're going to be helping to provide security, but OCT members and some other groups are going to be providing some security, but I'm running that.
Oh, sorry.
And so we went out there, me and Greg, Proud of Your Freedom, went out there to, I'll just wait till all the background noise is over.
I have a living.
Yeah, she's making money for me and her.
Okay. So we went out there to do a recon of the area and all of that before the protest on Friday. Now, if you are in the Temple area, it's 6:30 at the City Hall downtown on the east side, which is the side that across the street is the Wells Fargo. So it's on the west side, the opposite side of the parking lot. Let's just put it that way. 6:30 Friday. It's going to be a peaceful protest. And so we were out there doing our recon and kind of looking at different places where we need to put people. Also, where are the risks and what are the high value targets for someone that might want to cause problems, so that I know how to strategically place and even tactically place our security team. So while we're out walking around, we decided to kind of, we did what's called a, we did concentric circles. We started inside and started circling our way outside of the venue in widening circles to check all the different avenues of approach and find out what was in the area. Well, we know it's in the area, but just sort of value or evaluate all the different places that might be targets. So we go through this one part of town, and this woman comes out and talks to us, and I'm not gonna call her out yet.
If you guys saw the video,
Yeah, if you saw the video
Yeah,
on my channel or on Proud of Your Freedom's channel, you know who I'm talking about. But I'm not going to call her out here. But anyway, so she comes up and she had heard as we were walking, two other gentlemen had stopped us. They were from out of town. They're actually opening a business here in Temple, and they're relocating and from another state. Was it California? I can't remember. I think it was actually even California, but they were very pro-gun. And they took pictures with us, and they thought, here's a couple guys walking around with AR-15s, And so we were discussing the rally coming up, or the protest coming up on Friday. Well, once we were done talking to those guys, we started walking again. Well, this woman came up to us as we were in the alley, because we were looking in the alley between buildings, and she's like, "Hey, I heard you talking about what's going on Friday, and I just, I heard I could probably get some details from you guys." And so we told her what was going on. It was supposed to be peaceful. She was asking, she needed to know, do I need to board up my windows? Do I need to have security? What do I need to do? Do I need to close early? And I assured her, because I've been in contact with the organizers. I'm like, no, it's going to be a peaceful protest. The protest guy is a small business owner himself. He's been building his small business for 6 years, and he wouldn't want to. He's a sports promoter. He's a major sports promoter, or athlete, professional athletes. He's an agent. That's the word I'm looking for, agent. And so he's very high profile. A lot of people know who he is. And so obviously he's like, I don't want to be associated with violence. We're not going to do all that. Now, he's going to be very pointed, obviously, and he's going to speak his mind about the reality of police brutality. So she's asking these questions, and we're answering these questions, and all is well.
And let me just say, from the phone calls that I've heard between CJ and this guy, he's going through great effort to make it nonviolent.
Yes.
That's what he's aiming for. That's what he wants to achieve with this. At the same time, to get their message out about police violence, and
it's not going to be politically correct.
Yeah.
So, it was a good. I handed her my card. I said, if you're worried, or if any of the other businesses around here are worried, I've got several volunteers who are willing to serve as, deterrents for small businesses in the area. But I said, you really don't have anything to worry about. You don't need to board up your windows. It's not going to be, at the most, they're probably going to march to the police station for all I know. And, it's don't worry about that. We're going to have plenty of armed people here in security, as well as local law enforcement. That it's just, we're not going to have that problem. So fast forward today, and an informant, someone that we know personally, contacts us and says, "Hey, I was at a salon. I was getting my hair done. I can't remember if it was hair or nails. It's girl stuff. What do I care? Hair or nails. One of those things that women do. I don't know. Yeah, guys pick their nose and pick their butts. Girls get their hair and nails done. It's just the way it is. I don't know.
Girls have better hygiene.
Yeah, girls just have better hygiene. Anyway, all I know is she wasn't picking her nose or picking her butt or scratching her sack. She was doing something beneficial. And so this woman is talking to the hairstylist and talking about these two armed guys that were walking around with big guns and ARs, and they shouldn't be able to do that, and they shouldn't be able to carry AR-15s on the streets, and they need to be arrested. They need to get arrested. Someone needs to arrest those guys. Well, come to find out, it was the same woman. It was the same woman that was in the video, because the person that told us that she happened to be there was, and we showed the video to make sure.
Because there were two cameras going on
yes,
at that time.
We had
not
two
just
cameras.
His,
yep.
But the other person.
So I mean, this is the problem with liberalism. The problem with liberalism is that they'll tell you one thing to your face, and then as soon as you turn around, they're going to undermine you and try and stab you in the back. And this is the other problem with liberalism. What happened to that woman was she encountered two heavily armed men, both of them with visible 1911 handguns on the right and left hip, respectively, and two AR-15s. And guess what? We were extremely professional, extremely courteous, extremely peaceful, extremely helpful.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
She approached them.
She approached us, the big scary gun owners, and we were extremely helpful, courteous, and all of that. And then she goes and talks about how we need to be arrested. We just need to be arrested. So what she wants is she wants to initiate violence against law-abiding, peaceful people because they have the unmitigated gall to exercise their Second Amendment rights. And this is just indicative and just proves how liberalism truly is a mental disorder.
Well, and I don't even want to get into, is she left-wing, right-wing, whatever. it's just someone who just does not like, and there are a lot of conservatives who don't like open carry of guns and feel that people shouldn't be doing them. And you don't know where she stands on that aspect of it. And I just feel that the point of this is that here you have a person in the community.
Actually, I do. It's very easy because yes, you're right. Conservatives, there are rhinos out there that don't think people should be walking around with rifles. But I have never met a conservative that, even though they feel that way, have said those people need to be arrested. They've said just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know, that kind of stupid language. But I've never heard a conservative say they need to be arrested for open carry.
TSRA. They insulted you guys pretty heavily.
Yeah, they did, but.
Anyway.
So that's why I say it's a liberalism thing. But go ahead, sorry.
And that's what I'm trying to say. If the purpose of this rally is to gather everyone from every walks of life to just speak out against police violence. And I feel that if we're going to start labeling everyone, and I know people just, at this point, they're sick of just all the labels that have been tossed out this last week. But I don't want to sit there and say that this woman, she was a liberal because she hates guns, when it's across the spectrum of, there are conservatives that just don't like guns. They don't want people to open carry them. And you saw that when you got arrested the first time.
Well, this is also the irony and the proof that liberalism is a mental disorder, because you see the left out there, and it started out, everybody was protesting what happened to George Floyd. Everybody's left, right, doesn't matter. And they made this into a political issue, and now the left is out there, and they started, now it's all about down with Donald Trump and white power, and it's become very leftist. And here's the irony. The irony is, here they are out there protesting cops and the police brutality of police, right?
And who's out?
And what do they want to do? They want to call the police because there are peacefully armed people out there.
Yeah.
They're tired of police abuse, but what they want is the police to go and abuse these guys.
Which makes it okay, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't want these people who have guns that are protesting what the police are doing
to protect themselves,
to have guns to protect themselves from the police that are killing us.
But, well, okay, let me get back to my original point. So,
it's not about George anymore.
Yeah. We're not talking about all the rallies across the nation. We're just going to talk about the rally on Friday. And so you have this woman who went up to them herself. Are you reading the comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, there haven't been any questions so far. But
they say we make a nice couple.
Okay.
Do you claim me?
I don't.
Says surely that pretty lady don't claim you.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
So anyway, so you have this lady who is in the community who, did we say she's a business owner?
She's a business owner.
Okay, so she's a business owner. I can say that. And who approached them and got confirmation on what they were about, who they were, and what was going to happen on Friday. And therefore, the responsibility came on her shoulders to go out and let other people know what was going to happen on Friday, who she heard it from, the security detail, the people that were help planning the security detail. And what does she do? She goes out and she lies. And to me, that's just kind of inciting a little bit of fear to the other people. I don't know where this salon was, if it was downtown, if it was, in the nicer parts of town or whatever. And so here are these people that are hearing this, and it just...
Well, it was a friend of ours, so it was probably in the ghetto somewhere.
Okay, anyway. But what I'm saying is, she had a chance to step up, and instead she took like 5 steps down.
Yeah.
And I just think that's sad. And this is the issue that everyone is trying to highlight. What we should be doing at this time is we should be stepping up and not stepping down. So she really did herself a disservice in the community. And I think it's just shallow of her.
Well, and you add that to the time before that,
yeah,
when we were walking down 31st Street near the mall, and someone Snapchatted a picture of me and Greg, Proud of Your Freedom, subscribe, Proud of Your Freedom here on YouTube. So Snapchatted a picture of me and Greg with the caption that said, 0 screenshots to run them over. Well, it just so happened that people who know us, the people who know us saw that Snapchat and sent it to us. But
it was a kid. It was a kid.
It's funny because the left loves to talk about trying to end violence. And they're the most violent among us. They're the ones that are out there trying to use the police to use police brutality. They oppose police brutality unless it's against someone that they don't like.
Yeah.
Whereas I oppose police brutality against anyone. Believe it or not, even Antifa. Unless Antifa is being violent, by all means, I want them to get smashed all the way down. I mean, we should be watering the field with their blood if they get violent. But I don't believe in violence against anybody. Left, right, center, doesn't matter. Gay, straight, it doesn't matter. Whereas the left, they're okay with violence as long as it meets their ends. And I don't think there is an end on my side, which I tend to side more with libertarianism, but I am kind of a libertarian, conservative leading libertarian. But there's nothing that I believe in that I want to use force on someone else to enforce it, right? And whereas the left will do the exact opposite. So that was just, so those are just two examples, right? The last two times that we went out and walked, we had two separate incidents of violence where you have at least claims of violence, where the first one, they wanted to run us over, even though it's all talk. And the second one, they want us arrested, even though it's all talk, because we're not breaking any laws. So obviously, we've got a solution. We've kind of figured out, it's obvious. When you confront those kinds of problems, there's only one way to deal with them. Obviously, that business owner needs more visits from open carriers, and so we'll be going out there and doing some open carry events and stuff like that. So
yeah, if you guys want to join them for walks in downtown Temple,
yeah,
hit them up.
Just contact me. We'll go on some fun walks and just, we're not going to talk to them. We're not going to like stand there menacingly looking into the windows or anything. But
just walk down the road.
we instead of a big long loop somewhere around many different blocks, maybe we'll just stick to the same block. Who knows? Maybe we'll take a few breaks right outside there on the curb or in the corner. Or
and the funny thing is that they were in an alleyway.
Yeah.
And she went down a little alleyway where there were no people. Like
it's an alley.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you were that afraid,
I mean, Batman's dad died in an alley.
I would not have gone down that alley to confront two people with guns if I feared for my safety. Yeah. So I'm just saying. That,
Bruce Wayne's dad died in an alley, and here she is.
It depends on which Batman you watch, okay?
Pretty much every iteration.
The cartoons aren't. Anyway.
All right, so what I'll do is.
If you guys have any questions?
Yeah, if you got any questions, what I'll do is, unless there's no questions, I'll give the next 2 minutes for questions. If I don't get any other questions about, gun laws, rallies, protests, anything you want to know, then I'm going to cut it off in 2 minutes. Otherwise, we'll go as long as I see questions. Is there something out there that you have a question about? So I'll address one thing that I've seen a lot on social media. So as you know, Greg Abbott has declared Texas an emergency area. And a lot of people are out there saying, oh, now we can constitutionally carry. No, you cannot. The bill that the NRA pushed, 1177, we testified that this bill is going to do absolutely nothing for 99.9% of Texans, 99.9% of the time. We said that. We predicted it. This was nothing but the NRA's effort to try and undermine our argument about when there is an evacuation order, the fact that people can't carry out orders. It's just like the way they killed the constitutional carry, the previous session to that, was lowering the cost, because one of our complaints was, well, the license is too expensive. And so what did the NRA do? Instead of supporting constitutional carry, they supported a bill that would just lower the cost of the government permission slip, so that we didn't have that argument anymore. Well, then what the NRA did was, instead of supporting constitutional carry, they supported a bill that, okay, well, in times of emergency where there's an evacuation order, it's constitutional carry, but oh my gosh, only 7 days. And so it's all nonsense. But I'll tell you right now, just because the governor declares an emergency, even if there's a hurricane that comes in and there's a state of emergency, 1177 and the temporary constitutional carry does not apply unless there is also an evacuation order, and it only applies to evacuations. So if you're not forced to evacuate, it doesn't apply to you. So let's say Houston gets hit again. That doesn't mean that Dallas and San Antonio or Beaumont are going to be, if Houston is the disaster area, those other places are not going to be able to carry without a license unless they're forced to evacuate. So if only Houston is told to evacuate, then only people that live in Houston would fall under this law, which is stupid. I mean, and we all know that you can have a gun in your car as long as it's concealed without a license. So even the evacuation thing was nonsense. It absolutely did nothing. But I don't want people getting hemmed up in Texas because they think that since Governor Abbott declared an emergency declaration, that now we can all carry. I don't want you guys going to jail for that.
Went over 2 minutes. The question that came through: are you seeing more states get on board with concealed carry weapon reciprocity?
Yes, we are seeing a lot more states coming, at least being supportive of concealed carry reciprocity. You know, what's interesting is I've heard Trump talk a lot about clamping down on people protesting, using the military, posse comitatus, getting, due process, waving that out the window. We've seen him talk about all these other things, but where is concealed carry reciprocity? What has he done to expand liberty? Now, I will tell you one thing that I learned, okay? So I can no longer, in all honesty and with integrity, say Trump has done nothing for gun owners. One of the things that Trump has done is in Obama's administration, Obama moved the ITAR system, which is the system that tracks gun manufacturers, and moved it over to, he moved that to the State Department under the Obama administration. And when he moved it to the State Department added a $2,000 a year tax on gun manufacturers. And what that did was it met its intended goal, which was to minimize and lower the number of gun manufacturers in the United States, because all of these little mom and pop, I've got a friend that lives in Cameron, Texas, who's a gun manufacturer and had a manufacturer's license. But when the State Department took over and started charging everybody $2,000 a year just to have that license, even if all you were doing was drilling a hole to put in a part, then it drove them out of business. A lot of them can't afford $2,000 a year because they don't do that much gun manufacturing. And so one of the things that Trump did was he moved that back under the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Commerce said it has never in the past charged for those gun manufacturing licenses. So they got rid of that $2,000, and now we've got, my buddy is now a gun manufacturer again. And I'm sure there are a bunch of them around the country now under Trump. So I can no longer say he's done absolutely nothing for gun rights, but he has done stuff for gun control because he has done that. It's a minor thing. It doesn't affect a lot of people, but I just wanted to be honest about that part.
You went 6 minutes over.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything else?
No, that was the only real question. There were a lot of comments, but no other real questions.
Any comments that...
Nope.
What's it? Can't means I'm on someone else's property. What's that?
Oh, can't means I am. I think it was when it was in reference to what you were talking about at the time.
So Bimbo says can't means I'm on someone else's property as long as I don't take life, liberty, or property. Leave me alone. Oh, I think he's talking about. I think you're talking about constitutional carry and when you can or can't. Hey, believe me, man, I completely agree with you. I think the Constitution says we can. It doesn't say we can. It protects our ability to do it. However, it's up to you to fight that fight. And I will tell you that under our judicial system,
you're gonna lose.
You're probably going to lose. So unless you've got a whole lot of money, you might want to either lay low if you're going to carry constitutionally or just don't do it.
And also... just
oh yes, very true.
If you're going to be carrying guns, and after the events in Odessa and whatnot, just know the law.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
So Odessa is this Saturday. It's still going on, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., 1400, depending on how you read time. It's this Saturday at the Big Daddy Zane's. Again, 2 o'clock. If you want to be there earlier, we'll have people there all day. Bring your lawfully carried guns. Bring your guns. And remember, please remember, if you carry an AR pistol under Texas law, okay,
They were
if you
all sold out in
carry an
Amazon,
AR
so
pistol,
shorts.
make sure you have it in a belt or shoulder holster, not just a sling.
Which one are you looking at?
Now, you could probably make an argument that a sling is a holster because there is no definition for holster under the law. But one of the things I've done is I've partnered with we've partnered with Aaron's Gun Shop, Aaron Aaron, Aaron,
Aaron, not Aaron.
yeah, aaronsgunshop.com.
You say it.
Go there, click on the products. There's something called the Harp. It's the holster AR pistol, and it's a little Velcro thing that attaches to your belt. It's just a little Velcro flap, but it attaches to your belt. And if you're carrying an AR, you can still have it on your sling. And what you do is the barrel is strapped into this holster, and that technically makes your AR pistol legal. And all you have to do to access it is rip off the Velcro, and you're already on your sling. So if it's only $30 for that. If you wanted to get the Harp, well, it's like $28, but with shipping and all that, it's about $31. aaronsgunshop.com has those. $30, a good deal. It makes you legal, so you can carry your AR pistols. It's not intrusive, so when you're not using it, it folds flat against your belt. When you are using it, it's just a little piece of it's a piece of cloth. Well, it's a strap material. Or you can go and get yourself, like I did. I have a friend who's a leather maker, Jonathan Garcia, and he made me a custom leather holster for mine. It's just a snap holster that automatically pulls the gun out. You can do that as well. But please, if you're going to carry an AR pistol, and you don't want to get hemmed up, because remember, Open Carry Texas, we obey the law. We're very aggressive. We're very pointed. We're politically incorrect, but we always do everything under the law because we don't want to give them a reason to harass us. And so we do ask, if you're going to come with an AR pistol, come with a holster. Now, if you're somebody that can afford an attorney, and you've got an attorney, and you want to challenge whether a sling is a holster or not,
coming in about
then by all means, that's on you.
If you guys want to fight that's,
Fight it.
Yeah, that's you don't need to tell us about being property of the government and
Yeah. I mean, hey, believe you all know. Anybody that knows me knows that that I'm going to be there. What I'm going to tell you is, or not that I'm going to be there, but that I'm with you on this ideology, right? No, we're not. Look, if you're breaking the law, okay, the police have authority to arrest you. That's the way the law works. If you don't like the law, there are two ways to do it: get arrested and challenge it in court, fight them, and take those consequences, or get your congressman involved and get involved at the legislature, write a bill or get a bill passed that gets rid of these stupid, silly laws. But the fact of the matter is, when the law is on the books, whether we like it or not, which we don't, and we're trying to get rid of it, it's there. And Open Carry Texas will not allow ourselves to be arrested if we're not breaking the law. However, we're not going to necessarily protect you if you are breaking the law, whether you agree with the law or not. Now, if a law is patently unconstitutional in the sense that it's already been proven to be unconstitutional, it's not just philosophically unconstitutional, yes, we've got your back. For example, in Almost Park, that law itself was patently unconstitutional. There was a law that said that law was unconstitutional. There was case law that said that law was unconstitutional. So, of course, breaking that law wasn't a big deal. But when you're talking about these other laws that are out there, especially the holster requirement that has zero case law, you're going to have to fight that in court, and it's illegal right now, okay? It's illegal right now if you don't have an AR pistol in a holster. And look, if they come in here and say you're under arrest for carrying a rifle or carrying a pistol out of holster openly, we're not going to help them arrest you, but we're definitely not going to keep them from arresting you because you're breaking the law. Now, we're going to heckle them, of course, and we're going to show them for the bad cops that they are, because who are they protecting? Nobody. Whether you had the pistol in a holster or not, who are you hurting? Nobody. So why are they harassing you? Oh, we got to obey the law. Okay, that's what we'll do. But OC, if you want to do that stuff and challenge it on your own, go challenge it on your own. Everything we do, we've got to do for a reason. And if we're going to be civilly disobedient, we have to be civil disobedient in a way that we can win, okay? And there are risk factors involved in that. Yeah, analysis that goes into that. Risk benefit. That's the word I'm looking for. Risk benefit analysis. All right. Was there anything else? Yes. Statism is a mental disorder. Absolutely 100%. And qualified immunity. Absolutely 100%.
I mean, there was that one, but
The governor declared a state of disaster which authorizes law enforcement to lawfully disarm anyone they wish. That's not true. Is anyone supposed to then surrender in Odessa if Leo show up and ask us to? No, no. There is absolutely no authority for law enforcement in Texas to disarm you. The governor cannot order the state to disarm people because our Constitution, Article 1, Section 23, specifically says only the legislature shall have the power to regulate the wearing of arms with a view to prevent crime. Okay, just because there's a disaster doesn't mean that the governor can just willy-nilly or cops can just willy-nilly start disarming you because you're bearing arms. Only the legislature can do that. And there is no law under Texas law that says they can just disarm you just because the governor has declared a state of emergency. That is unconstitutional. That is wrong. If Leo come in there and that's what they're trying to do is say, hey, there's a state of emergency, we're disarming everyone here, we will fight any cop that tries to enforce that. Okay, we will. Open Carry Texas will fight you if you try to disarm us just because the governor issued an edict, an executive order edict. Sorry, doesn't work that way. So there's the answer to that question. Thanks for asking that.
no more.
All right, no more questions. The statute under the disaster order says that they may decide. It doesn't matter. May disarm anyone that they feel is a threat. Okay, there's what's called a reasonable person standard. There is judicially defined that law. I want to say it's 411. I want to say it's 411-205 in the government code, but I'm not sure. But the law specifically uses two words, reasonably believes, okay? Those are legal terms. And it's not the reasonable belief of one person. It's a reasonable belief of a person in that situation, a reasonable person standard. And so that officer has to be able to articulate a reasonable belief that you are a threat. And that reasonable belief can't just be one, you've got a gun, and two, there's a state of emergency. That will not fly in court. We will stand up to that. Okay, it doesn't matter. I know what the statute does say, and that term, reasonable belief that you are a threat to yourself, the officer, or the general public. That's the only time it applies. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this off.
Yes. Nope, don't even look. No more questions.
All right.
All right. Some stuff.
Yeah, we got some other stuff to do. I've gone 13 minutes over.
No, you started at.
No, I said
46,
I was going to do 20 minutes.
You said 2 minutes. You said 2.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right.
2 minutes.
Take care, guys. Y'all be safe. Be free. Any last words, beautiful?
Get off.